diet, change your life, change the planet.
Hello everyone, Tim Van Orden here with the Running Raw Project, and this is number 2 in my series on New Year's resolutions. This is the big one. Are you ready? Part 2! Today is January 7th, which means that week 1 is over. Why don't we call them strongs instead of weeks? Instead of being the weak one, why can't it be the strong one is beginning rather than the weak one is over? So I'm going to start doing that. Strongs. This is the beginning of strong 2, which means you're getting stronger rather than getting weaker. And we're going to talk about that today. Why New Year's resolutions, the way they're typically made, make you weaker and weaker and weaker, week by week, instead of strong by strong. Just imagine how strong you'd be at the end of 52 strongs a year. And I'm going to show you how to do that, how to create resolutions that actually build strength rather than make you weak. Most Americans make New Year's resolutions, but the types of resolutions that they're choosing, like quitting smoking or losing weight by dieting or getting a new exercise plan, set them up to fail. And most of the coaching that people go after around the new year, they get a personal trainer or they get a diet coach or they get a new guru, some self-help guru that's going to magically transform their life and make them think more positively and clearly, also setting them up to fail. Because we can't change that quickly. You can't go from a caterpillar to a butterfly overnight. There's a process in between where you have to go into a cocoon and there's a chrysalis and there's this transformation, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. So we're going to talk about the process today. And we're going to ignore all those people that tell you just to go from caterpillar to butterfly. Because this type of thinking is going to deplete you rather than make you stronger. So what I'm not going to tell you to do is to man up, commit, do more, be more positive, because it doesn't work. My goal is not to weaken you, but to make you fart. No, I didn't say make you fart. I said make you fart. F-O-R-T, which is the French word for strength. So by the end of you watching this video, you will feel fart. Down here in the gut, there will be fart growing, want to come out of you and express itself. A lot of the New Year's resolutions and coaching that you're going to get in the new year is going to tell you to control your emotions, control your thoughts, be more positive, do this, dig in, try harder, focus more. I think that's really bad advice, so I'm going to tell you to do the opposite. So if New Year's resolutions don't work and all the positive coaching out there or motivational coaching doesn't work, why do so many people make resolutions and why do so many people seek out coaches and trainers and gurus at the beginning of the new year? Because it puts them in this positive bubble. It surrounds them with this glow of positivity. So people are basking in this delusion that they're actually going to transform. They're actually going to manifest permanent change in their experience of who they are. It doesn't work like that, okay? We can't go from the caterpillar to the butterfly without this big process in the middle of cocoon and hiding away and not seeing daylight for a while, and nobody wants to do that. They just want to immediately jump to the butterfly. Not gonna happen. But this delusion of transformation that these gurus, coaches, books, and magazines are all selling you, they put you in this feel-good mood, like, oh yeah, I made a resolution and I am super cool. I'm a rock star right now. I'm gonna have that beach bod in 90 days. I know it. And you're acting like you already have it. You're using a credit card to buy something that you don't have the money to pay off. So you're acting like you've got the beach body, but you haven't taken a single step yet to getting it. You've spent the money on the credit card, but you haven't earned the money yet to pay it off. So, I don't sell feel good. I sell do good and get good. And that's a process. In 2 weeks, I'm going to be giving some talks in Virginia and Philadelphia, and I was trying to come up with a catchy title for these talks, and I thought about New Year, New You. And I realized that although that sounds good in a cheesy kind of self-help way, that's so not what I talk about. So I scrapped that one, and I'm still trying to come up with a better title that actually inspires people to show up and represents what I do talk about. Because I don't think this whole New Year, New You is real or possible, and I think it's a bad idea. because you have to start where you are, as you are, and with the tools that you currently possess. That's where you have to start. You have to start at the start line. You can't start at the finish. When you make that big commitment, that New Year's resolution, you're starting at the finish. You're saying, in 90 days, I'm going to have the beach body. And you feel like you're already at the finish line, but you're not. So we've got to get real. We've got to get honest with ourselves. You've got to take a good, gentle look at yourself. Not a good hard look, but a good gentle look. Look in the mirror. Be nice to yourself. Be that loving parent that I talk about. And say, okay, where are we? Who am I? What do I look like? What am I doing? What are my habits? Instead of making yourself wrong for having them, say, these are my habits. This is what I do. I'm smoking. I'm drinking too much. I'm eating horrible food. I'm not exercising. I'm playing computer games. I'm whatever. Be honest about it, because that's where you've got to start. That's the caterpillar, or the worm, whatever you want to call it, the grub, the nasty little squirmy thing. That's who you are. If the caterpillar denied that it was a caterpillar and started running around saying, I'm a butterfly, I'm a butterfly, I'm a butterfly, it would never build the cocoon because it thinks it's already a butterfly. But it's not, it's a caterpillar. Okay? You've got to build the cocoon if you want to become a butterfly. You can't just run around saying I'm a butterfly. You've got to do the work, people. And that work starts with an honest assessment of the starting line. You, right now, real, raw, naked, exposed, and vulnerable. From that place, you can change the world. But you have to be in that place first. I've been doing a lot of study in the fields of psychology and neuroscience lately. That's my new big topic to delve into, because I learned about as much as I could about diet. I learned as much as I could about exercise and physiology, and none of that information really made huge changes for me or the people that I was advising or coaching. It wasn't until I really started getting into this that I started seeing a way out for myself with my own challenges and for others as well. And a lot of the research that I've been reading points to this thing that we call willpower that we're going to need for our New Year's resolutions. Well, it's finite. It is a limited resource. You can think of it like gasoline in the tank of your car. It's a fuel for the mind. It's a fuel for getting things done. To better explain how willpower actually works, I'm going to use a car analogy with the willpower as the gasoline in the tank, okay? Here we go. In life, there are certain roads or paths or actions that are flat and smooth, and there are no corners, and we don't use a lot of gasoline when we're driving down these roads or when we're taking these actions. But then there are other paths or roads or actions that are like rugged mountain passes where you're using massive amounts of gasoline to try to get to the summit, to try to accomplish this action, or to try to move down this path in life. But the roads, the path, or the actions are not the only variable here. There's also the car that you're driving on that road, because that car changes. Now, the driver doesn't change, unfortunately. It's very difficult to change the driver because that's you. How do you change you? Well, it's you that's actually supervising the changing. It doesn't work. Anyways, you're the driver, you don't change, okay? But the car does. And what are the cars in this analogy? Your moods. Because some paths put us in good moods and some paths put us in bad moods. Some paths are not just rocky and rugged, but they change our mood in the process. The challenge weakens us and puts us in a bad mood. Now, a path could be perfectly flat and smooth and straight, which means it's not physically challenging. But for some reason, we have a mental block or an issue or a past experience or whatever it might be that challenges us, and that path becomes mentally difficult, even though it's a simple, straightforward path. And in that case, you're going to be driving something like a Hummer, this giant car that gets like 5 to 8 miles a gallon, and you're going to run out of gasoline pretty quickly, even though it's an easy path. Now, if it's something you really enjoy and it's relatively easy to do, that's going to be a flat, straight path, and you're going to be driving an electric car. You're not going to be using any gasoline at all. Flat, straight path, no gasoline, you could do it all day long, no problem. So it all boils down to this. The path could be simple and easy, But if you have some block about it, or if you have low self-esteem in that particular area, you're going to use up your willpower really, really quickly. You're going to burn through that gas like crazy. And most of the New Year's resolutions that people make are not only up and over these giant mountain roads, but we're trying to do it in an RV or a Hummer, and you go through your gas like that. So the more challenging your path is, and the more mental angst you experience while on that path, the quicker you're going to burn through your mental energy. And when you've burned through it all, which is going to happen pretty quickly with most New Year's resolutions, you're going to end up in a state that psychologists call ego depletion. Your ego energy, your willpower has been depleted, and this is a state that you want to avoid at all costs. Because what they have discovered is that when you are in a state of ego depletion, something shows up. It's called cravings. Now, you've gotten rid of your willpower. You don't have any willpower anymore. It's gone, okay? And you're not happy. You're in a really bad place. You don't feel good. You have something now called cognitive dissonance. Your mind is freaking out, and what's it going to do? It's going to run screaming for comfort. This is where cravings come from. Because we deplete ourselves, because we take on too much. We either try a path that's too hard, or we don't acknowledge the mood that we're in while we're on that path. We don't acknowledge our feelings. We're not honest about who we are and where we are. We're saying that we're a butterfly, but we're not. We're a caterpillar who's pissed off, and we're burning through our gas tank. So New Year's resolutions usually end up hurting you rather than helping you, because they increase your cravings, because they deplete your ego and put you in a state of cognitive dissonance. And that's bad. But it gets even worse. Once your ego is depleted, tasks that normally make you feel good will now stress you out. So instead of driving on that flat path in your electric car, now suddenly you're driving a small SUV down that same path. It's not as enjoyable as it used to be. So the things that used to replete or replenish your ego aren't doing so anymore. So New Year's resolutions can not only defeat the new habits you want to build, but they can also take away from the good habits that you already have, because they make everything harder. Ego depletion makes everything in your life harder, not just the task you're trying to take on. Because that willpower energy, that gas tank, applies to everything in your life. The gas that you drive to the movie theater with is the same gas that you drive to the dentist with. It's the same gas. You know, one you dread, one you enjoy. Doesn't matter. Once the gas is gone, it's difficult to go to the movies or the dentist. So instead of resolving to make these huge, massive, transformational changes in your life, I suggest that you resolve to just get into action, to take tiny little steps. Just get moving. That's it. No huge changes, no beach body in 90 days, no quit smoking, nothing like that at all. Just get into action. Take one tiny step, because every tiny little step that you accomplish provides you with a victory, a little tiny victory. And when you get a string of these little victories all lined up together, you can turn a Hummer into an electric car, and you can turn a mountain road into the Autobahn. So in conclusion, don't think big, think small. Don't go for broke, go for fixed. Okay? So I wish you an amazing next 5 minutes. Not 2013, because I was thinking big, too big. 5 minutes, little tiny chunk. Okay? So I wish you the most amazing next 5 minutes that you've ever had. All right? See ya.